Hi everyone, happy Friday. It's Mrs. Palermo. I am not able to be here today, so I'm going to go through some of these quiz review problems with you. The quiz covers sections 8.1, 8.2, and 8.4. So the first part of this review is going to cover 8.1 and 8.2, and then later on we see 8.4. So I'm just going to pick a couple of them here. Let's see. Let's talk about this second one. I would listen while I'm going through these and just kind of fill them in like notes, and then after the video you can go back and do the rest of it. So the vertex of this parabola on number 2 on the first page, be careful because the scale is a little bit tricky here. We're not going by 1s on the y-axis, we're going by 2s. So if you look at the actual coordinates of the vertex, it is 0, 4. So write the coordinates there. It says, is it a max or a min? So anytime that the parabola opens down, the vertex is on the top, so we want to say it's a max. The axis of symmetry always goes through the vertex. Remember, it's a vertical line. So in this particular case, it would be this dashed vertical line that I'm trying to draw on top of this. The equation of it is always x equals, and then the same x value we have here. So if that's 0, the x value of the vertex is also 0, or the axis of symmetry. So those have the same number. Whatever is here always goes in your axis of symmetry because it goes through the vertex. The roots are always the x-intercepts. So the x-intercepts here, it crosses the x-axis at -2 and at +2. So you can just write both of those values with commas in between them. Then on the next line, we're asked for the domain and the range. Just a reminder, the domain of quadratic functions, because it goes left and right forever, is always all real numbers, always. The range depends on whether it opens up or down. This parabola opens down, so where I'm drawing this red line, that is the very top of my parabola, and then from there, all of the y values are below that. So that red line is a little bit hard to tell because I drew red on top of it, but it's at 4. So the range of this one would be y is less than or equal to 4. Increasing and decreasing we haven't talked about since probably Monday, so it's been a while. So the increasing and decreasing intervals, it switches at the vertex, so you just want to trace along it. This left thing is like, as you trace along this left half of the parabola, it is increasing, so I'm just putting a plus there. And when you trace along this right half of the parabola, it is decreasing. My pen is going down as I'm tracing that, so this is decreasing. So you just want to describe that. Remember, it always switches at the vertex. So you can put x here, x here. The x value of the vertex here is 0. So 0, 0. It is increasing to the left of 0. So this would be less than 0. And it's decreasing to the right of 0. So this should be greater than 0. There are more examples of these exact type of questions in your 8.1, I believe it's 8.1 part 1 notes from Monday. You did some very similar things. So these are graphing. We're describing transformations. There's not a whole lot of room here. This is what we did yesterday. So there's more transformations going on. I'm purposely going to pick one of the ones that's a little bit more difficult. I'm going to look at number 8. And I do want to talk a little bit about how this table is set up because it's kind of confusing. So I told you guys yesterday when the table has blank x values and they aren't already filled in, you always want to put the vertex in the middle. And in fact, that's what we want to do later in this packet, or they kind of already did it for us. But on these ones, it's kind of already filled out. So let's talk about where the vertex of this would be. So when we change this to vertex form, remember, there's an invisible -0 here. So let's talk about the transformations. I'm just going to write them underneath the parabola. So this -0 would move it 0 to the right, so we don't need to write that. This +6, we talked about kind of a lot yesterday. That's going to move the graph up 6 units. So it's a vertical translation up 6 units. This negative and the 3 you want to think about separately. So the negative is always a reflection across the x-axis. And then remember the 3, because it's bigger than 1, this 3 in front of it is going to be a vertical stretch, which if you imagine pulling those arrows on the parabola, it's going to create a narrow parabola. So here's kind of like what's going on this page. The vertex of this parabola would be 0, 6. Remember we talked about it being, there's not a lot of room here, but I'm just trying to explain this a little bit. The vertex is the opposite of this number, but it's just 0, and then equal to this number, so it's 6. So 0 is in the middle of this chart, but the thing is on some of your other ones, oh, actually, never mind. Everything on this page has an x value of 0 for the vertex, so these charts are already all set up how we want them. So you do want to use these 5 x values they gave you. The vertex should be in the middle. Then just use the calculator to confirm the rest. So remember, go to y equals, type in the original function, just this that I'm highlighting in yellow, type that in your y equals, and then hit second graph and go to the table. So when you do that on this one, I can give you a minute to do it. So you're typing that in your y equals. You're going to hit second graph and you're going to go to the table. Your first value for -2 should be 4 times -3 is -12 plus 6. This should be -6. When you plug in -1, I'm just doing it in my head because I don't have a calculator right in front of me, that's 3. When you plug in +1, you get 3. When you plug in 2, you get -6. And then you just kind of plot those points. So -2, -6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is down here. -1, 3 is right here. 0, 6 is right here. 1, 3, and then 2. Remember, there's going to be symmetry. So everything on this page doesn't have any motion left or right at all. So the x value of the vertex is going to be 0. These are the ones that we actually did on the, let's see, on the 8.2 day. So you could follow along with those notes a little bit too. Then this is all the vertex form stuff, which is what we did yesterday. So these ones should be pretty fresh in your memory. I'm just trying to pick one that's a little bit more complicated. The one that I'm going to do together with you is this one on the next page, I think it's on the last page of your packet. I think it's hard to tell the pages on here. But I'm choosing to do this one just to kind of start it with you. We're not going to finish it all the way though, probably. We did a bunch of these yesterday. So that's that vertex form. So remember, the vertex is going to be the opposite of this number. So the x value of the vertex is +3. The y value is going to be equal to this number. Remember, the number inside the parentheses does opposite of what you would think. So this actually shifts it to the right 3. So it's a horizontal translation, and then we have a vertical translation here, and that does exactly what you would think, so it goes down 5. Then here, this 1/2 out front is going to be a vertical compression. I notice some of you are writing vertical shrink, and that's absolutely fine. The axis of symmetry here is going to go through the vertex. It always does. So the axis of symmetry is always the same. X value is the vertex, so it's x equals 3. That's that vertical line going through the vertex. Does it open up or down? That all depends on the a value. This number out front is positive, so then it opens up. If it opens up, it's going to look like this. So if it opens up, the vertex is on the bottom, so the vertex is a minimum if it opens up. Okay, so then we know the vertex is 3, -5, so put that in the middle of your chart. To get those other values in your chart, you can do kind of like the shortcut way that we talked about yesterday, where you can type this equation in your y equals on the calculator and go to the table. So for that, I would say type this in there, go to the table. You need parentheses around the 1/2. So type that in, go to the table. I'm just kind of filling in these values. And you're just going to get the values that go along with those. I'm making a video. So when you plug these in, when you plug 1 in, you're going to get -3 is what you should get there. When you plug 2 in.
What's up, video?
Okay, bye. When you plug 2 in, you get negative 4.5. When you plug 4 in, or when you use the table on the graphing calculator, you get negative 4.5. And then 5, you get negative 3. Remember, those values you can get from your calculator. I was just trying to plug them in my head, and then someone walked in too. So now my classroom door is shut, so we should be good. But I'm also pretty much done with this. So we're going to go to 1, negative 3, and then 2, negative 4.5. 3, negative 5, 4, negative 4.5, and then 5, negative 3. So there is my parabola. Okay, so that's kind of the main point. This is just practicing all of the things that we learned this week. I know Monday quizzes are bad timing, but we're also not going to take a day and just not do anything. So quiz does naturally kind of fall right now. So we'll have a quiz on Monday. As far as yesterday's homework goes, it was the 8.4 practice. I want you to hold on to that for now. I can get that from you on Monday. And you guys are just working on this review for the rest of class. So at this point, this video is only 11 minutes, so you should still have a lot of class time left. Finish it for homework if you don't have time during class, and then we can go over it on Monday. If you have any questions, we can do them before the quiz. So I think that's it. I hope that you have a good weekend, and I will see you on Monday.